Hi, my name is Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green. I am coming today to respond and say thank you to Diddy for declaring a state of emergency in the Black community. I saw his heart. I heard his question. I watched the panel, and I appreciate everyone on the front lines. I appreciate everyone who responded. And I wanted to add some very important aspects to the conversations. Diddy called for solutions. And as a professor, when I give a test and I ask for an answer and you give me an explanation for why the problem was created, that does not answer the question. And so I want to come and bring my professional expertise as a professional thinker and a professional problem solver to help address this state of emergency in the African American community because of the alarming rates that COVID-19 is impacting the African American community. We are in a state of emergency, but God does not give us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So we cannot ask someone else to provide our power. Our power is God-given. God gave us a brain to think and to solve our own problems. So we cannot wait around on someone else to provide solutions to a problem that may not get solved for months while we're dying. And our lives are at risk going to work every day if we have a job where we can't work from home. So I wanted to bring my perspective to this conversation, not because I think that I'm so smart, but I want to say things that may not have been considered and respond to the immediate call to action that Diddy put out. So thank you, Diddy, for declaring this as a state of emergency. And with our power, with our love for our people, and with the sound mind, which is good judgment, clear of thought, we need to respond to this emergency and adjust quickly. We don't have time to fall apart. We don't have time to cry about how we got here. We don't have time to analyze all the data to determine that this is a long time coming condition of health disparities and racism. And okay, we got it, but we can't cry about it right now. We need to act right now. So the questions are, what are we doing? And I know a lot of people may not know me. My prayer is that Diddy gets this and my credentials don't matter. Some people need to hear that I have 3 degrees in physics, that I've trained for 5 years at the Comprehensive Cancer Center, that I've developed the technology that has shown complete elimination of cancer in mice, that some people are calling a cure to cancer. I don't use the term cure because I know people get afraid when we talk about curing something. So there are a couple of things that have been distracting us from this conversation, and I need to hone us back in on tangible solutions. So first, we need a public service announcement declaring a state of emergency in the African American community. The people who are on the front lines, who are dying every day right now because of COVID-19. We need to declare an immediate state of emergency to shelter in place. To shelter in place. Stop congregating and having barbecues and smoking on the corners and passing drinks and sharing beverages. This is not the time. I've heard the conspiracy theories that this is not real and Black people can't catch it and O positive people or blood type O people can't catch it and it's because of the 5G towers. So what? Stop spreading the disease. It is deadly. Even more so to all of us African Americans who have an underlying pre-existing condition. If you or a loved one take medication for anything, if you have asthma, if you have high blood pressure, if you have diabetes, if you have heart disease, if you have a lung issue, if you have cancer, if you have anything that has been diagnosed ever, you are part of the vulnerable population. I am shouting and praying for everyone who hears this to stop and take a knee. Take a knee. Just take a knee. Stop. Take a knee. The people who pray, pray. The people who have the luxury of staying at home, do your part and stay at home. Play games, have fun, plant a garden, learn how to invest in the stock market, develop a hobby, draw a picture, do something to occupy yourself, because you are an extrovert is not an excuse to put the rest of us at risk. Please stop being selfish. Yes, everybody needs to take everything they can to boost their immune system. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, selenium. Yes, boost your immune system and still stop being selfish. We need to have a minute to put a plan in place to respond and save lives. The system cannot handle the crises. So what do we need to do right now is take a knee and allow us time to plan and put the plan in place. Stop being selfish and being a burden because we all have it figured out that it's a big conspiracy theory that the numbers are not right. My black men, I hear you. You are not invincible and you can be contagious. So stop thinking that you can go run all of your errands and nothing has changed. And when you go out, you must, even if they have told you it is not 100%, you must cover your mouth. Yes, there is always going to be the very present and real threats that the police will target and assassinate you. That happened before COVID-19. So that does not mean that you need to go out, bring back, and contract the disease and spread it to the rest of your family who may not be able to survive this just because you might. But no one needs to act as if they are invincible and that they are not contagious. Put a mask on, put some eyewear on, put a bandana, a scarf, a shawl, a neck gaiter, something. Act as if this is airborne. Act as if this is contagious. Act as if you have it. And those who pray, pray, but please stop congregating. We are in a holy season right now, and we as a culture are accustomed to going to church. This is unprecedented. We have not seen anything like this, and black folks go to church on Easter, Mother's Day, and Christmas if we don't go to church any other time during the year. So stop for a moment and realize the gravity of what is happening and stream online. We are in a time where we have the technology where we can do FaceTime. We can communicate with each other. We can stay connected. We don't have to be socially distant. We need to be physically distant. Physically distant. You may want to lay eyes on someone you love, and I get it. That is part of our culture. I get it. But we don't have the luxury of comfort right now. We need to take action immediately. And everyone who has the luxury and the privilege of working from home and you have a paycheck, we have to do our part and take the burden off of the system and put some plans into place. So we need a PSA on all black media saying this is an emergency. This is a state of emergency. Shelter in place. Be physically distant and socially close to support each other to get through this time. This is not the time to snap. We don't have the luxury of falling apart. We don't have the luxury of losing it. We need to keep it together right now. And we need to act immediately and pull it together immediately. PSA on all black media, period, saying This is a state of emergency for Black America. Shelter in place. We have been talking about protesting. We have been talking about what's our economic power in the world. This is the time for us to show we need face masks. We are the essential workers in this country. This country does not run if Black people all die. The country does not run. So thank you to all of our healthcare professionals and our essential workers working at the grocery stores and working to make sure that we have transportation, gas, and food. Thank you for being on the front lines, but shame on us for not making sure you have the face mask that you need. The essential people and those most vulnerable need N95 virus grade protection face mask. The official face masks are needed for our workers. The economy will fail if Black America dies. That is not a viable option. We have to take immediate action and protect ourselves. If you have to go to work and your boss is not providing protection for you, make or take your own and wear a scarf, a shawl, or something. Something is better than nothing. And there needs to be a mandatory requirement that everyone who is in public needs to have something on their nose, their mouth, and their eyes. Period. Period. We have to take matters into our own hands. We cannot wait for someone who is not qualified to tell us how to survive a crisis. Sometimes privilege makes people comfortable, and I understand that we are looking for solutions right now, so I'm here to propose solutions. We need a PSA. We need to cover up, and we need N95 masks. So when I say we need N95 masks, we cannot wait for anyone to provide those masks. I appreciate the government is doing the best that they know how. Stop assuming that there is a conspiracy theory. They may be really doing the very best that they know how, and they need prayer, not criticism. And we cannot wait for them to come provide face masks for the urban community and the people who may not survive COVID, so they may not be deemed necessary to even provide medical care for. And they're being turned away for getting testing. This is a crisis. We have time and resources to build manufacturing facilities and distribute N95 masks. We in the African American community have time and resources to build, manufacture, and distribute N95 masks. We can do that. In the time that we have known about this virus and the potential that it would have, the devastating potential that it would have on this country, regardless, Black American or otherwise, we have had time to build, manufacture, and distribute N95 masks ourselves. This may not go away anytime soon. And if we delay on building the facilities, manufacturing the N95 mask, and distributing them ourselves to our doctors, our nurses, our essential employees at the grocery stores, the food delivery drivers, and the restaurant employees. I may have some other people on the list, but you see my theme. Everybody who is out in public, who is working to make sure that we can stay safe and alive, they all need N95 masks. And we need to build the facility, manufacture, and distribute N95 masks in the African American community. And this facility needs to scale up. There are 16 million people filing for unemployment. These are capable, competent, brilliant, employable people who can work in the factories to make N95 masks. We have brilliant scientists, inventors, technologists. The patents are already in place. We can network and identify the path to build the facility, manufacture, and distribute N95 masks. The trickle-down effect, according to history, does not work. We cannot wait for N95 masks to reach the neighborhood that are not considered essential. Our urban neighborhoods need now more than ever advocates who have resources. Those N95 masks are essential for the essential workers, but they are also essential for those with vulnerable health conditions. That is everyone who takes a prescription medicine for anything, for asthma, for cancer, for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for heart disease, for any underlying pre-existing condition that plagues the African American community. Those are our most vulnerable people who may not survive COVID-19 if they contract it. We have a responsibility to protect our most vulnerable and our seniors. So we need to manufacture, to build the manufacturing facility. We have time. This may not go away anytime soon. I am not spreading fear. I am providing clear thoughts. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. My prayer is that you hear my love, that we claim our own power, and that we use our sound mind to develop tangible, real, practical solutions to a crisis that no one alive right now has ever seen. No one knows how to respond, and people are doing the very best that they can. Meanwhile, let's get busy solving things. So we need a public service announcement. We need to declare a state of emergency to shelter in place for African Americans. Don't congregate. Wear something if you must go out. Wear something, a neck gaiter, a scarf, a shawl. Save the N95 mask for those who have an immediate health condition, who are most vulnerable and are essential workers. The next thing is we need testing. We need tests. We need tests. We can't control a virus. We can't see it. We don't know who have it. 4 out of 5 people without symptoms are contagious, and they're spreading it to people thinking that they are invincible. You may not die from it, but your grandmother, your auntie, your brother, your sister, there are some whole families who are being devastated. We need tests, whether you have symptoms or not. And following the test, we need to quarantine and isolate. We have seen South Korea contain COVID-19. There is strategies in place where we saw that happen. We do not have the luxury of waiting for any elected official who is doing the best that they know how with their God-given brain and talent to help us, and they may be tapped out. This may be the best we get. We hope and pray that there is more and better coming, but if this is the best we've got to work with it. If we need to manufacture our own tests, let's partner with South Korea and develop those 5-minute tests that they did, and let's put some of these 16 million unemployed people who are standing in line for unemployment, let's put them to work. Let's get some N95 masks, let's get some tests, and if we can't get them, stop begging. Stop begging. We need to make our own. We have all of the HBCUs. We have all of the Black business owners. We have the resources in the Black community to make our own masks, to make our own tests. Financially, we need to tighten up as if this is already the Great Depression. Buy what you need as if you're preparing for a hurricane or tornado or a natural disaster. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Please. Buy sustainable food that you can have a 30-day supply at minimum. At a minimum. Go back to the basics. Get a bag of beans. Boil it. Eat off of it for a week. Tighten up. And I know people are used to eating meat. And you're used to having barbecues and cookouts. And you're used to a certain fast food and junk food will not sustain us during this time. Tighten up. You need live foods, whole plant a garden right now. Invest $50, $20 and plant some tomatoes, some collard greens, some okra. Plant some food right now. And whatever patch of grass you may or may not have, if you are in an apartment, buy a kiddie pool, put some dirt and aerate it and plant you a garden inside your apartment. But do something to plan for long-term food shortages. We need to make sure that our farmers are not letting food rot and open up the restaurants so that the grocery stores and the neighborhoods can get the food that the farmers have already cultivated and harvested. There's another part in this. In the process of building our immune system, you cannot build your immune system and put junk in your body at the same time. It doesn't go together. So that's one side note. This tighten up financially. Make sure your life insurance policy is in order. Make sure your beneficiaries are in order. Make sure that whatever loan deferment for your car note, your mortgage, whatever, apply and get those loan deferments where you can get the kind where they will tag on your payment at the end of the term. Do all of that. Make your estate plans. Get your financial affairs in place. Those estates and wills, the estate plans and wills, get the template online. For those who may not have all of the resources, get the template online and go to the UPS store and spend $6, $7, less than $10 and get it notarized. That is sufficient in a state of emergency. We are in a state of emergency. Your power of attorney needs to be in order too. You need to have the executor of your health care, of your estate. Those things need to be determined today. We are in the middle of a holy high season. And I said I wasn't going to work this weekend, but I said Jesus would want us to live, to save lives, and to call to action. Right now, this is a state of emergency. This is my response to Diddy's call to action. But we need to have our finances in place. We need to tighten up our budget. We need to stop spending on frivolous things. And everybody went crazy about toilet tissue. And I'm like, when we run out of toilet tissue, use a rag, use a towel and some soap and water. Toilet tissue is not an essential item. Food, water, shelter. Those are the things that are essential. Spend money on preparing for a food crisis. Spend money on making sure that you and your family are safe. You can get a 99-cent bandana and tie it around you. Stop spending money on frivolous things. Stop. Tighten up. So make sure you get the loan deferments that you can tag on to the end of your payments. Do that for your car notes, your mortgage, and whatever loans you have. Get your wills and your estates and your power of attorneys. Get your financial business in order. People don't like to talk about finances in a time of crises, but there need to be beneficiaries, nonprofits, organizations, and individuals who financially are taken care of. And that does not traditionally happen in our African American communities because we don't like to talk about death. That is a rites of passage. That is part, if you are a Christian, a believer in anything, death should not be scary. And I'm not saying that to be insensitive. God does not give us the spirit of fear. I have dedicated my life to make sure that we don't have untimely deaths to cancer. So I'm not saying, don't take what I'm saying out of context. Hear me, hear my heart. We need to prepare financially to take care of those we leave behind. There is nothing wrong with saying, here is my will, here is my estate plan. And if you don't have any children, if you don't have family, pick a charity. I have one, but I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying and thinking this is about me promoting my nonprofit. It's not. We need tangible steps in this crisis right now. So let me start just to continue to build on what I'm saying. Diddy declared a state of emergency. We need a PSA to go out on all Black media declaring a state of emergency in Black America. Shelter in place. For those who have the luxury of working from home, do so. Do so. Stop congregating. We need to change the narrative. Physical distance is not the same as socially distance. Sometimes you need to lay eyes on somebody, use FaceTime, stand 30 feet away. The most recent science came out that this can travel up to 27 feet. Treat it as if it is airborne. Keep your physical distance. Even if you must go to the store, wear something, anything over your nose, your mouth, and your eyes. Treat it as if you have it. Protect the people who you love. Don't contract it and spread it. This is a state of emergency. We need N95 face masks and we need tests. And we need them, yes, for the healthcare workers and the essential employees, but we also need them for all of the people who have underlying health conditions. Yes, boost your immune system. Yes, wash your hands for 30 seconds. Yes, keep your physical distance, but we need face masks. We need tests, and we need to stop begging for them because they may not hit the urban centers. They may not get to New Orleans and Chicago and Detroit and Milwaukee. They may not. They may not get to New York in the hood and the sky rises. We need to manufacture our own. We need to build the facilities, we need to manufacture our own, and we need to distribute them. Tangible steps. One of the next things, I'm working with a doctor here in Atlanta who has been using a protocol for eradicating COVID. We're working to publish this and distribute this amongst the network of doctors who can teach and distribute these tests. It is unacceptable the way African Americans get treated in our healthcare system. It is unacceptable. And instead of asking somebody else to be our savior, we need to save ourselves. So we will develop treatment protocols that have been shown to work here in Atlanta. We have demonstrated, documented evidence that we will publish. And I am saying we do not want a vaccine. Viruses do what viruses do. Viruses mutate. We will not accept a vaccine that is as ineffective as the flu vaccine. We do not need a vaccine that we have to go back and get every year that is ineffective against a virus that is mutating faster than we can create the vaccine. Viruses mutate. We're not sure And nobody wants to say we don't know how many times COVID-19 has already mutated. We don't know the science and haven't had time to study why some black people have different symptoms for COVID-19 than some white people. And I'm saying now is not the time to ask those questions. We need to act immediately and act as if you already have it. Boost your immune system, prepare financially, prepare mentally. This is not the time to engage in domestic violence and start killing folks. Spikes in domestic violence have gone up. This is not the time for us to fall apart. We need to keep it together. Diddy asked for a call to action, and I appreciate the effort and the initiative that he took, and I wanted to come pour my heart out and say, these are my recommendations for what Black America needs to do right now. We need to individually do our part. This works when we all stand together. I understand people are having to make choices about, do I go to work and risk my life so I can feed my babies, or do I shelter in place? And I can't tell you what to do in those situations. That's why we need N95 masks. We need N95 masks, and we need testing. But each person must, this is not optional. You must do your part. I can't tell you. I am telling you, because somebody needs to say something. Somebody needs to say something, and if that somebody's me, fine. But we need to do our part. Action is not optional. And if your part is simply sheltering in place, if your part is praying, do your part. For those who have resources, and Diddy asked for an action item, I don't know what Diddy's resources are. I'm not counting that man's money, but if he's asking for recommendations on how to save Black America, this is what I'm saying. We need a PSA for all Black media. This is a state of emergency for Black America. This is a state of emergency for Black America. Shelter in place. Let me add, let's shelter in place for at least 21 days. It may be 90 days or more. We may not see normal for all of 2020 if we don't take action. We have seen South Korea go back to some economic stability with the introduction of tests and N95 masks. They did some other things that we may not have the luxury of doing now because it's already spread so far. But what we do have control over right now, these action steps right now, things that we can do right now. This PSA, shelter in place for at least 21 days. If you absolutely life or death do not have enough food in your house right now to last 2 weeks to 21 days, yes, get food. But why you and your grandmama and them didn't teach you to already have at least 2 weeks of food, I don't know. But you should already have enough food. Someone put in here, the homeless need assistance right now. Everybody who has a job that they can work from home, we have to do our part. There are so many ailments that pre-exist in the Black community, from homelessness to our prisoners and our innocent people who are in jail, who don't have a real crime that they've committed, and they're staying in jail waiting on a court date to see if they're even innocent or not. We have so many issues plaguing the Black community that I'm not going to pretend that I can address all of them right now in my life. What I'm saying to you is sheltering in place for at least 21 days will give us a chance to work through some of these problems without unnecessary burdens on the hospital. Don't go out and get into a car accident. Don't fall down the steps. Don't have a back injury, a knee injury. Chill out. Take a knee. Take a knee. Stop for 21 days, taking these so we can figure out how to respond to this state of emergency in the Black community. We need to exercise physical distance like the plague is outside, and everybody and you may have it, and we don't know because we don't have testing, and anybody might be contagious. So quarantine with your immediate household and stop there. Stop there. There is so much going on right now that to try to address every single issue in the Black community will overwhelm the whole solution process. Give us a minute. Give us a minute. Take this time, and whatever you need to do to stay sane, go in your backyard, go for a walk outside, but cover yourself and stay physically distant. I'm calling for 30 feet. I've been saying 6 feet is not enough. If you are inside a closed container, and let me define closed container. Closed container is a room, is a store, is an airplane, is a train, is a subway, is a bus. Closed containers are anything where the air is constantly circulating, the air conditioning is coming on, it's probably a closed container. If it's not outside, that's a closed container. Stop going in closed containers with no protection on. Every store owner needs to require some kind of face mask, a scarf, or shawl in order to enter their closed container facility, building, store, grocery store, Home Depot, Walmart. Everybody needs to require a face mask and some eyewear to come in. Period. We need to contain this. We need to stop spreading it, and we need to take a knee. Period. 30 feet, physical distance. Check on your folks. FaceTime. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. 27. He didn't have FaceTime. He didn't have internet. He didn't have a cell phone. But guess what? He came out stronger. So my love message to you guys is stop acting like we've fallen apart after a month. Our people spent months on the bottom of a slave ship coming over here. We can tough this out. This is not something that we cannot overcome. We shall overcome. But in the meanwhile, stop acting invincible. Take these 21 days, declare a state of emergency on all Black media. And Diddy was asking what to do. This is my response. We need to declare the state of emergency. Shelter in place on all Black media. Keep 30 feet of physical distance between you and everybody else, and wear something over your nose and your mouth and your eyes. Period. Sit down. Get a hobby, plant a garden, learn how to start a global e-commerce business, learn how to build a business right now. We need to learn how to invest in the global economy. Figure out something to do with your time. If you are blessed to be able to work from home, do your part and stay out the system right now. Stay out. Take a seat. Chill out. Take care of your immediate family. That is sufficient. And let us have a chance to put the rest of this in place. We need to build our own manufacturing facilities to manufacture and distribute N95 masks and these rapid tests. I don't want to wait 3 or 4 days when the 5-minute and 1-day tests are available. Let's get those, let's make those, and let's stop begging for some knight in shining armor to come and save us from the elected officials. They are probably doing the best that we can. And if I hear one more thing about 5G, I'm going to scream. Like, we need to act like everything may be true, and so what? What are we going to do about it? We need to act accordingly. We need to make this adjustment. This is not a game. We need to act as if this is the state of emergency that it is. Get your finances together and tighten up. Get your wills, get them notarized. You can download the templates offline, get your estate plans and your financial affairs in order. Get your financial affairs in order right now. Stop being scared. Stop being scared. God does not give us the spirit of fear. God does not give us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. This is a holy week. This is a holy weekend. People of all religions all around the world are observing this holy time and trying to figure out what in the world is going on. My heart today was to respond to Diddy, not to instill a spirit of fear, but of power. We have our own power. Our own power. Our black dollar, our black resources. This is our power. We have the resources to build and manufacture our own N95 mask. Everybody who has an underlying pre-existing condition, everybody, that means all these black folks that's taking medication for high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, asthma, anything that anybody that you love is, they are the most vulnerable to this right now. It broke my heart to see the numbers come out, but I saw it coming down the street. I'm not saying I'm not psychic. I'm not. I'm using my sound mind that the good Lord gave me. My auntie used to say, act like we sent you to school to do something that can help us. So our intellectuals stop. And some people are called to analyze how we got here. That was never my calling. My calling was, okay, we got a crisis. What do we do to solve the problem? These are practical, tangible steps. I pray that Diddy gets this message. I pray that y'all tag him. I pray that y'all send it to him. I reached out and texted him. He didn't get it. I'm asking for everybody I know to get this to Diddy. Help us build a manufacturing facility. Help us. We need to build a manufacturing facility to manufacture N95 masks to get it to our most vulnerable people. Every black person who's on any kind of medication, you are vulnerable. And our young black men, our beautiful, brilliant, resilient black men who want to smoke on the corner, stop. This is not the time for that. This is not the time for that. Stop. Somebody put in the comments, we can sew, we can make protective equipment. We have 16 million people file for unemployment. We have the labor. We have everything that we need. We just need to pull it all together. So I've been on here. I needed to pour my heart out. I heard Diddy's call to action, and I respect everybody that he had on the panel talking about how we got here. And when he said, stop talking to me like we all on CNN and talk to me like we at the kitchen table, I said, my brother, I hear you. This is my response, and I'm making it public because people need to hear tangible things. We need 30 feet, not 6, 30. We need something on our mask. And I've been saying it before it got the official recommendation by the CDC. And I am not trying to discredit or compete or be combative with any of the people who do this professionally. But God gave me a mind and some common sense. And my common sense is saying I need to communicate to the people who can't hear it right. Sit down. Stop going outside if you don't have to. Take the food that you have in your house right now and live on that for as long as you can, and stop. Take a knee and give us a minute to figure out everything else that we need to do. I'm not saying that this is going to be easy, but it is doable. Like somebody saying we need to raise money. There are people in Diddy's network that have the money to build this manufacturing facility that I'm talking about. And it could be up and running within 30 to 45 days. And I'm telling you right now, on Easter weekend, Saturday, that in 30 to 45 days, the time that it would take us to build a manufacturing facility, we are not going to have face masks in our urban centers. And prove me wrong if I'm wrong. Please get some masks in the urban centers. Please, New Orleans, Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, New York, get some masks there. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But what I'm saying is not only in Black America do we need masks, But this is such a sound business investment because the whole world is experiencing a mass shortage right now because the trade is being intercepted. So we got brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, in Brazil, in South America who are going to need these masks that we make. We need to be ground zero for making masks and not being victims. People are going to die. And my heart and my prayers are with people who have already lost a loved one. My message today is so that we can stop losing. That's been my passion in life. It's been focused on cancer. But this is something that I needed to speak out on. And I hear and I respect the dignitaries and the elected officials. I hear you. But our young black men on the corner smoking Black and Milds and whatever else they smoking and passing bottles around saying, if I take my vitamin C and some sea moss and drink water and put some steam on my face that I can't get the coronavirus. And baby, that's just not true. Not only can you get it, you can spread it. So stop being selfish for a minute. We need y'all to survive, but we need y'all to take care of the rest of us. If you are strong and healthy, like, do your part. Stay strong and healthy. We're not asking much. So this is something tangible. I know we have the technical skills to build a manufacturing facility. I know we have the technical skills to manufacture N95 masks, and I know we have the technical skills and the logistics to distribute these N95 masks and these rapid tests. So when I'm saying to our brothers in the hood, while y'all out here kicking it, chill out, sit down, take a knee, whatever I need to say, hear from my heart. Women, like, this may be a man's world, but it's not. Like, do it without women. Women, we need to speak to our men. Tell them you can't come back in if you go out. We need to help us understand, because some people, unfortunately, have stopped listening to the news, and they don't know what's going on because it's stressful. I get it. I understand. This is not the time to fall apart. We need to adjust quickly, immediately, right now. And we need to be on ground day one, starting today, tomorrow, Monday, building these facilities. We can repurpose existing facilities, and we need to manufacture our own masks. So with that said, I've covered everything that was on my heart. I understand that people are scared. This is not about being scared. We don't have time to be scared. The stuff that we've been through as a people, we can survive this. There's something, someone is asking me, can I educate folks on proper ways to come in and out? There are a segment of our community that must go to work, or the rest of us can't do any of what we're trying to do. So if you must go to work and you're in a situation where you don't have protective equipment, you need to create your own. When you go out, you need to put something, a bandana, a scarf, something. You can use HEPA filters and put inside. There are a lot of ways that you can make homemade masks. In a crisis, you do what is essential and necessary. You do what is essential and necessary to protect you and protect your loved ones. And you do it immediately. Stop waiting on somebody to tell you. Do it immediately. Put your mask on when you are interacting with people. So I'm going to tell you this as if you are working at the grocery store, the gas station or something. Put your mask on, put your gloves on, put something over your eyes. And you pray the whole time. Because that may not be the high quality N95 mask that you need. And you require your bosses to require everybody that walks through that door to put something on. Because if everybody has something on and someone contagious walks in and they sneeze, instead of relying on them to cover their cough or their sneeze in their elbow, it will be caught in this cloth, whatever it is. So homemade masks are not the same as N95 masks, but they will be sufficient in a crisis if everyone is wearing one. Everyone needs to wear one. Everyone needs to wear one. So going in and out, best practices. That's when you're out in public. When you come in, take off everything, either outside the door, right at the front door, and put it immediately in the washing machine. Immediately put it in the washing machine. Someone is asking, some people don't have surgical masks in the United States. A lot of people don't have surgical masks in the United States. So we are talking about how do we make do when we don't have the essentials. This is the time for survival. While we're building the manufacturing facility to manufacture our own N95 masks, we're talking about survival techniques right now. So when you come in, derobe everything. Put it immediately in the washing machine. Go immediately and wash your hands 2-3 times for 30-45 seconds each. Go back, wipe down everything on the washing machine, and then go immediately get in the shower and wash everything head to toe. Everything. Someone is asking about shoes. Shoes stay outside. Shoes don't come back in. If you don't have a washing machine, hand wash. You can use soap and water to wash your clothes out. Hand wash. I remember one time I was growing up, I did something, and my punishment was to hand wash my clothes. Those are important lessons. So there's some other survival techniques that I'm going to give you guys that are practical. So you come in, you wash everything head to toe. Wash everything head to toe when you've been especially in a hospital environment, anywhere in a closed container. Wash everything head to toe. And I know black women, we don't wash our hair. I don't care if you need to wear a wig, a hair wrap, put something. But how your hair looks is not an excuse to put whatever may be in your hair on your pillow for you to breathe in when you go to sleep. When you use gloves, there is a proper way to take gloves off. So when you have your gloves on and you've been in a place where it's public, you take one glove and you pull it from the middle and you pull it down and you roll it up in the other hand. And with the free hand that doesn't have gloves on, you go underneath the inside of the other glove and you roll it off, and you basically roll the glove inside of itself and you throw it in the trash. People are reusing masks and reusing gloves because it is a time of crisis. And I know we're trying to make do, and I'm saying that's the proper technique. In these manufacturing facilities, we need to make gloves and other protective equipment. But there are some things that if you stop going out when you don't need to and you have extra, then you can. You can set up decontamination spaces at home. These are life-saving techniques. Some of our brothers are talking about boosting your immune system. That is not a conspiracy. There is science behind boosting your immune system, but it does not make you invincible. 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, zinc, selenium, vitamin D, water. Those things will help boost your immune system. But we cannot forget proper diet. Eat your fruits and vegetables. We cannot forget rest. That is so important, because you can do all of the rest of this stuff, and if you're stressed out and you're not sleeping, your immune system is compromised. When we talk about food, and I'm saying you don't need junk food, you don't need fast food, make a pot of beans, make a pot of greens, make some soup, make some navy beans, some lentil soup. Do things that will sustain you. My auntie who raised me was born in 1932 and was raised by a woman who went through the Great Depression. We grew up on chicken and dumplings. We grew up on soups, homemade cornbread. We grew up on lots of soul food. Soul food by itself is not deadly, but stay away from foods that cause high blood pressure, like pork. So, and you guys are asking me questions. So let me, okay, there are a couple of things. Because I have some people in my network who have compromised immune systems who can take up to 15,000 milligrams of vitamin C. And there are natural food sources for all fruits, for all the vitamins, citrusy fruits. We need to incorporate and reincorporate live fruit and vegetables in our diet every day. This is not the time to gain weight and be unhealthy. Everybody needs a daily exercise regimen. Everybody needs an eat healthy plan. Everybody needs to plant a garden. Everybody needs to do what they can to shelter in place, minimize, just stop all the social congregating. Stop it. Stop. Just stop. There was another question. So someone is asking me about this vaccine again. Let me repeat. Viruses do what viruses do. They mutate. Viruses mutate. I don't want to see a vaccine that's as ineffective as the flu vaccine that is outdated every year because the virus is mutating faster than they can make the vaccine. And an annual COVID vaccine is unacceptable. If you come with something like the measles vaccine or the polio vaccine, I can support the science behind a vaccine that can eradicate a global pandemic. But a new annual vaccine and we haven't invested in cures? No sir, no ma'am. Let's get this under control with N95 masks, with tests, with physical distancing, not social distancing, but physical distancing. And let's invest $100 million in curing COVID-19, not $100 million in a new vaccine. I support the community saying no new vaccines for COVID. Viruses by nature mutate. So we cannot expect that this virus, this super virus, is not going to mutate, and it probably already has. People ask questions all the time that are beside the point in a state of emergency. Like, who's going to profit from this? Doesn't matter. I'm not saying this because I have any stake in the profits or anything like that. To me, that's a distraction from saving your life right now. Saving your life right now, stay at home. If you must go out, protect yourself and everybody around you. If you must go out. But if you don't have to, stay at home. Do not go outside. We are in a state of emergency with Black America and how this COVID-19 virus is killing us more than everyone else. It's killing us more than everyone else. So when I'm saying to you, we need to treat this like the crises and the state of emergency that it is, hear my heart. Hear my heart. There are lots of different ways to build up your immune system. There are lots of videos and things that you can go find and do. So I'm not going to go into, but you need to build your immune system. You need to eat live foods. And people are asking, is it okay to use disposable face masks if you wash them in soap and water? It honestly depends on the type of face mask it is. Make do the best that you can. We are in a time of life or death. This is a life or death emergency. This state of emergency requires all of us to take action right now. Right now. I don't have political aspirations. I'm just a Black woman who happens to have 3 degrees in physics and love y'all enough to tell y'all what seems to be some misunderstanding. Diddy called for action and he asked for action items. And the things that he heard His response was, stop talking to me like you on CNN and talk to me like we're sitting at the kitchen table. So I decided, not speaking on behalf of any of my employers, I decided as my own child of God that I am, to come and pour my heart out to hopefully save some lives for people who are not taking this seriously. This is a state of emergency. I'm going to end this soon. I know there were some other questions. Let me see if I can answer some other questions. Someone asked, economically, how long can we survive in this quarantine? For my opinion, we need to prepare. We need to prepare. Hear me. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but we need to prepare that this is going to be new normal for the rest of 2020. We need to prepare. Let's prepare. Don't keep getting caught off guard. Getting caught off guard once or twice, okay, but we can't afford to keep getting caught off guard. We can't afford it. We need to adjust immediately. We need to adjust immediately. This is a state of emergency. This is not about being scared. This is not about who's going to profit. This is about how do you and your family and your relatives in New York, in Chicago, in Detroit, in New Orleans, in Milwaukee, how do we as African Americans survive this global crisis when we are at the bottom of the totem pole of priorities? So prepare as if we need to stay bunkered down for the rest of 2020, and let it be a pleasant surprise if we can build the manufacturing facilities and manufacture our N95 masks and our tests so that we can get this under control. But meanwhile, with everything that you can, shelter in place. Let me address one more thing. Cabin fever is real. Mental health is real. A lack of mental stability is real. So when I'm saying to you, if you need to take a break, go outside by yourself, go for a walk, go out in nature, go fishing, go camping, go hiking, but stop congregating. If you live in an urban center and everybody around you is in close quarters, put a shawl over yourself and get away from people. Get away from people. Get away from people. So, someone is asking, does everything need sanitizing? Yes. Okay, I thought that went without saying. Wash your hands. Wipe everything down. Bleach dishes, bleach water, soapy water with bleach in it, and wipe down everything everybody touched, from the doorknobs to the light switches to the handles on the refrigerator, the handles on the microwave. This is the time. People don't want to say this because they think germaphobe is a dirty word. I've been a germaphobe for like 30 years. This is the time to be a germaphobe. This is the time to act like this disease is airborne. This is the time to act like you and everybody else may have it. This is the time to take all of the precautions. All of them. Take them. You cannot be too careful. I'm not saying this to make anybody scared. I don't believe in the spirit of fear. I believe God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. So information is power. Our finances are power. Building these manufacturing facilities, that's power. God gives us the spirit of power and of love. I'm saying this out of love. And if you can't see that and you misconstrued it, this message was not for you. And of sound mind. God gave me a sound mind to not wait on somebody who doesn't have a scientific background just because they're an elected official. And I thank them. And I believe they're doing the best they know how and the best they can with what God gave them. And it's okay to say sometimes that's not enough. And we can't wait on them to come up with something that's going to help us and save us. We don't have time. We don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury to wait on somebody to come save us. We need to do everything we can right now to survive. This is not a game. This is not a test. We have luxuries right now A lot of people have the luxury of staying at home and working, and there are 16 million people who file for unemployment. So we have a labor force that's capable to work in these manufacturing facilities that I'm talking about. We have the finances and resource. Diddy did a call to action and said, tell me what to do. Talk to me like I'm at the kitchen table. Not like you on CNN. Diddy, I'm saying, I don't know what your bank is. I don't know who all you cool with, but when you say you want some tangible things, these are my tangible. We need to manufacture. Now, meanwhile, somebody's asking about grocery things. Everything that I get my groceries delivered, and I'm thankful for those essential workers. I tip them very well. The people who are dropping groceries off, I take everything out and wipe everything down. Everything. You cannot be too much of a germaphobe. Everything that somebody else has touched, I'm wiping it down. This virus can live on cardboard. It can live on metals. It can live on the doorknobs, on the light switches, on the microwave door, on the refrigerator door. It can live anywhere. We need to act as if it is airborne. We need to act as if it is everywhere. We need to act as if you or anybody that you come in contact with may have it. That's how we need to conduct our thinking. So when I am saying to you, this is a state of emergency. This is a state of emergency for Black America. And I get the history of health disparities and racism and how we got here. I get that we have to take care of the homeless and the prisoners. I get all of that. Meanwhile, the rest of us need to take a knee and let the system adjust. Suck it up for at least 21 days. Suck it up. Suck it up. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm saying be considerate of those essential workers who are going out risking their lives. Don't be a burden on the system. Stop. Someone said keep away from droplets and saliva. When I'm saying act like this is airborne, act like this is everywhere, there was a new study that came out that said it could travel 27 feet. If you are in a closed container, 27 feet, 10 feet, 6 feet can be 2 inches if the circulating air is on. So do not go anywhere without anything. Mandatory face coverings. If you own a store, if you work at a store, shame on any store owner who is allowing people to come in without covering up with a scarf, a shawl, a bandana, a neck gaiter. We don't know who has it. 4 out of 5 people don't have symptoms, and they are contagious. Period. We don't have the testing to determine who has it or not. So if everybody wears something, this will save our lives right now. So I had a double fold message for Diddy, and I'm sharing it with you guys so that you can take action. Send this to Diddy. I've been texting him from the phone number that he put on his IG page, and he hasn't texted me back yet. So I decided to stop waiting and do my part. Someone is asking, is rinsing off fruit and vegetables enough? Wash everything. Use vinegar. For everything you can't use bleach on, use vinegar. For mental health issues, there are mental health professionals who are offering services online. Some of them are free for people who do not have health insurance. We do not have the luxury of being afraid. We need to be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Don't be afraid. God does not give us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Mental health. People are going through divorces, are trying to get divorces right now. Domestic violence has skyrocketed. People are killing each other. This is not the time to fall apart. This is not the time to fall apart. This is not the time to fall apart. I understand the children are missing prom and high school graduation, and this is hard for our babies. And people are dying and grieving loved ones, and the rest of us need to chill. Wherever you can show compassion, show it. Wherever you can donate something, donate it. The vinegar and apple cider vinegar for washing fruit and vegetables is a long time remedy for cleaning your fruit and vegetables. These are things that you guys should have already been doing. These are things that we need to continue doing. These need to be lifestyle changes, not temporary diet-like changes. These need to be lifestyle changes. Washing produce like you wash dishes because you don't think vinegar enough. Use your sound mind. I rinse everything off, and I use natural products already, so my dish detergent is not toxic. So do what you need to do to stay safe, period. This is not the time. It's not the time to fall apart. This is not the time to be selfish. This is a crisis. This is a state of emergency. Someone said this is the time to call on Jesus. This is the time to call on Jesus, to call on Allah, to call on Buddha, to call on the ancestors. This is the time to call on whoever you believe in. It's the time for that. This is a holy week. This is a holy weekend. This is the time for everybody. When I say take a knee and pray, stand and pray, whatever you do, we need to be in prayer. If you are in solitude, this is the time to build yourself. We need to be strong spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, and physically. Don't forget to exercise. While you're boosting your immune system, exercise. I already talked about, and some of you guys may have to go back and watch from the beginning, but I already talked about creating home gardens. I already talked about building your immune system. I already talked about the public service announcement that needs to go out on all black media to declare this is a state of emergency for Black America. This is not a game. This is not a test. This is a state of emergency, and faith without work is dead. We need to have faith. We need to build our immune systems, and we need to take every step possible to save our own lives. The reason why I'm saying call on whoever you believe in, because my faith may not apply to what somebody else may believe in. And this is not a time to be divisive because somebody else has another religion or believes in something else. And I'm not saying call on a false God. I'm saying different people around the planet have different religious backgrounds. And whatever you need to get through this time right now, that's what you need to do. So this is not a time for judgment. This is not a time for divisiveness. I don't care if you red, you blue, you black, you green, you believe in Allah or Jesus Christ. Everybody that I'm talking to, if you have an ear to hear what I'm saying, hear my heart. I'm not talking about technicalities right now on what kind of God you believe in. Everybody needs love and hope and light at the end of the tunnel. I have friends who have all kinds of lifestyles, and I identify as a Christian. And my Jesus didn't tell me to judge and cast people away because they believe differently. My call on this planet is to love people. And if y'all can't hear that from all that I'm saying, you missed it. You just missed it. My prayer is that you hear my heart and that you take these tangible steps to save lives, our lives. Black America is in a state of crisis right now. The tangible steps that I gave, I hope y'all take them to heart. I hope y'all mobilize on them. I pray that y'all take them to heart. I pray that y'all mobilize on them. Take this message forward. This wasn't about me going viral, but I pray this message goes viral. So if you take it and put it in your own words, take it. Put it in your own words. Share it. Do what you need to do, but get this word out. Get it out right now. Get this word out. It's not about my voice. This is not about me. Nothing I ever do is about me. This is from love. I've said that I need to say what I needed to say. I love you guys. I appreciate the love that you are giving me. My point is this, and I'm going to close out. We need a public service announcement to go out on all Black media, declaring a state of emergency for Black America to shelter in place. We do not need to wait on our elected officials to tell us to shelter in place. We need to shelter in place and declare our own state of emergency. Diddy did a call to action and asked for help thinking through to create solutions to this problem, this crisis in the Black community. And I have outlined in this tangible, practical steps to survive this crisis and this state of emergency in the Black community. We need a PSA declaring a state of emergency. We need face masks. Yes, wash your hands. Stay at least 30 feet of physical distance away from everybody else. If you don't, like, everybody with the underlying health condition needs an N95 face mask. And because we don't have them, I'm saying make do. Wear a scarf, a bandana, a neck gaiter, a t-shirt, wear something. If you must go out to work, demand and require. If your boss wants you to be at work, everybody who comes into your place of employment, whether it's a grocery store, a gas station, I don't care where it is, ask and require your boss to make sure everybody that comes through that door has something on their face. This works in a state of crisis. It's not 100% if only one person does it, but the percentage of effectiveness goes up if everybody in the room has something on. Sneezing in your elbow is a second poor choice to everybody wearing something. I've been saying this for weeks before the CDC. Don't have to wait for somebody else to tell you. If your good sense and logic says that what I'm saying makes sense, do it now. Don't wait. We don't have time to delay. We need to adjust quickly. While we are making do with our face mask and staying physically distant, not socially distant. Stay socially close. Check on your folks. Stay physically distant. We need to, and we have time to, manufacture our own face masks that may not get to our urban centers, to our Black people. I'm asking Diddy, help us build the manufacturing facilities to manufacture N95 masks for all of the urban Black centers that will not get them immediately. The trickle-down effect historically has not helped us. We can't wait for you. We can't wait for somebody else to give us N95 masks or tests. Everybody needs to cover their eyes, their nose, their mouth when and if they must go outside. But we need a mandatory shelter in place that's for the Black community for at least 21 to 90 days. Boost your immune system. Get your rest. Eat healthy. But stay out of the system. We need to figure out the homelessness. We need to figure out the prison population. We need to figure it out. But if you have the luxury and the privilege of working from home, take a knee. for at least 21 to 30 days to give us a minute to put these plans in place. I've said everything I need to say. If you've missed it, please go back and watch it. Share the message. You can share the video, but share the message. Just like we have the gospel of good news being spread, spread this gospel of survival. Spread this gospel of survival. Please. I implore you. Please. And to our brothers on the corner. To our brothers on the corner who want to smoke, congregate, and share drinks. Stop. You are not immune. You can carry this disease back to the people you love and kill them. Don't murder us. Love us enough to stay healthy and practice physical distancing. This is not the time to kick it with your homies. This is not the time to be on conspiracy theories about whether this came from 5G or if Bill Gates gonna... Stop. That's not going to help us right now. It's not. We need you to stay healthy. We need you to stay healthy. So, hear my heart. I'm saying this out of love. I pray that you guys hear this gospel of survival and you go spread this gospel of survival. I'm covered. I'm prayed up. I love you guys. I thank you, Diddy. I thank you, Diddy, for doing this call to action. And I pray that you hear this and that we start manufacturing. Because we need them. And people around the planet who look like us need them too. This is not going to go away anytime soon. And we can't make the N95 mask fast enough. Thank you for all of my professional colleagues in the chat who have endorsed the message that I'm saying. And I am, again, just to reiterate, I am not speaking on behalf of my employer. I am speaking from my own heart as a child of God who cares and loves my people. Thank you. Please spread this gospel of survival.